The former royal known as Prince Harry has been back in front of the cameras that he so apparently is scared of once again. This time for a sit down with the international American channel NBC. But as ever, there are unanswered questions, and here on the show we're about to answer them. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here at the very heart of London. Thanks for joining me today. Nice to have your company, and also thank you so much for all the kind comments about Greece and Dusty Springfield and things like that. It's nice, isn't it, when we share memories and we sort of think, oh, I forgot about that. Yes, wonderful, you know. And as I'm making these videos for you, I often think to myself, oh, I'd forgotten about that myself. You know, it's one of those things, isn't it, where everything triggers off another memory. Soon, hopefully, when I can get the time, I'm really busy with politics over here, as you can imagine, with Boris and Partygate, and of course, this chap, the royal formerly known as Prince Harry, who recently sat down with NBC. Now, a lot of people are asking, what was the deal behind this? Well, it was part of the deal for the Invictus Games, part of the deal for their Netflix publicity campaign, and of course, what did Harry reveal? Well, the bigger picture, of course, is was Prince Harry paid, and did he know the questions in advance? And that is the bigger question. Now, let me tell you how a big channel like NBC works. Cast your mind back a few years when, of course, Pippa Middleton was all the rage, and NBC stumped up quite a bit of money to make sure they could tie Pippa Middleton down to a deal. In fact, so convinced they were of her star power at that time, they spent thousands, possibly millions, making all sorts of promos, trailers and trips. In fact, she actually was interviewed by the disgraced NBC reporter Matt Lauer, and then they took her out to a rodeo. You get the picture, the follow on how it works, right? But then Pippa herself saw the light. I did know her at that time, a wonderful girl, by the way. Totally understood what it was about. She knew that it was about her royal connections, and decided very quickly that TV really wasn't for her, and possibly a place in the limelight. So obviously she took the money and decided, well, no, it's really not for me. NBC lost thousands, as I say, millions in this adventure, but of course it doesn't stop them wanting all things royal. And there's a bigger picture behind wanting to sit down with Prince Harry now. It's also interesting to note, isn't it, that Prince Harry only really sits down with a certain type of interviewer, and the ones where the questions are fully prepared in advance. Oh yes, make no mistake, every single question would have been gone through in advance. There were no surprises there for Prince Harry. What's interesting to note also is when he was asked a very similar question by the BBC during a similar sit down, that wasn't part of the deal. That's why he looked very angry towards camera. She wasn't supposed to ask that question, but pushed her luck anyway. Bravo to her. But back now to the NBC. Well, how much did they pay? Well, quite a lot, apparently. It was, as I say, part of the press pack, but more importantly, this is a bigger picture. They're hoping that while Prince Harry spoke rather strangely, shall we say, and bizarrely about Her Gracious Majesty the Queen, further down the line, he will be their choice of national station to sit down and discuss his forthcoming memoir, which is due out, as we now know, later this year. Now, it's a lot softer, the interview, than even Oprah Winfrey was giving him, but of course, not really very challenging, was it? And more importantly, he knew the questions about visiting the Queen, his family. He fully agreed with that. Was there a big paycheck at the end? You bet. Now, where does that paycheck go? Well, allegedly, we have to say as ever, we're not quite sure whether it would go to the Prince Harry production team, Archewell, or to the foundation, or more importantly, to the charity Invictus. One way or another, it's put Prince Harry back on the front pages, but again, possibly this time, for all the wrong reasons once more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.